the mastering that engages the evolution. The essential being is free by nature, for free was created by the universal Father, Father of all essences. So free every being is, that to continue being free, the Father gave him the helm of his free will to conduct himself. The Father, with his enormous wisdom, knew that no being could be happy if he did not have the freedom of decision to lead himself on the path, and as a consequence, determine his own life, or seal his own destiny, determined by his own free will. The terrestrial being wants everything, and he also wants it to be the way he wants it, and in the immediacy he wants, with the speed he wants, and in everything he wants. In this need to fulfill his petty desires, he tries to achieve them by dominating. The being who wants to impose himself by dominating is a selfish, vain being, who does not like to see the other progress in order to appear better to shine in the overshadowing of other beings. The dominator by nature does not measure efforts, does not measure consequences. Dominated and subjugated by the desire to dominate, will use the most brutal means. He will plaster minds, plaster people, kill, silence voices that showed new evolutionary paths where new beings would appear, overshadowing what today emerged as true, and would overshadow it. Afraid of losing his own power, the dominator increasingly increased his dominance and plastered or annihilated new knowledge, oppressed minds, imposed fears. He created mistrust, burned books, killed people, but he couldn't see that he plastered bodies, but he would never be able to plaster the essences, the essential free being that the greater Father created. And with that mastery, calamities befell. The evolution descended to the bottom of the well, and the humanity returned brutalized. He returned to the brutalized core, losing the millions of years necessary for the being to hone the diamond that was sleeping in the rough stone of its essence. With power, with force, with taking away freedoms, with limiting rights, they, the dominators, often managed to get what they wanted, not knowing that God gives things at the right time and without harm to anyone, because happiness needs freedom to grow, evolve, and sustain itself. So, with immediacy, with selfishness, with vanity, they got what they wanted for themselves, forgetting that the Father wants the best for all his sons. Thus, what one son obtains cannot be taken away from what belongs to another, for the Father created all in equity. After the apparent victories obtained by the dominator, these victories did not leave him the happiness he was looking for. They did not leave him the peace of heart he needed, the harmony that balanced him. And dissatisfied, he entered deep depression because he could not master the essences. Your essences are like butterflies. They, in dominating, launch themselves to fly and enter the cosmic space. Free again from the body that imprisons them, they will return with more force, in the return of their freedom, in the reincarnation of another life, in the silence that was created, in the silence of their voices. At the Father's moment, these essences, which passed through huge stones, which they managed to push away or survive them, return with full force, strength acquired with the enormous difficulties experienced. The weakened dominator will not be able to survive the very pains of the soul, which he himself created in his being. Pains of dissatisfaction, pains of guilt, fears, low self-esteem, and in his own prison he became plastered and immobilized. What will happen in your own life will always be a reflection of what you produce in the lives of your brothers, because the energy you send is reflected in the other and returns to your perispirit, added with the energy of the other. The being that wants to dominate the other will be the worst dominator of himself. The being who wants to plaster the path of the other will plaster his own path. The being who wants to imprison the other's path will be trapped in his own path. Never let dominance grow in you, because you will be creating your own shackles to evolve, and you will be paralyzed in time, because you will be going against the freedom that the Father has given to all beings, and you will thus be the cause of their own unhappiness, which you created by creating the unhappiness of the other, wanting to imprison the butterfly of its essential being. Blessings and light for all.
Cosmic Consciousness. Book 2. The Understanding. Chapter 20. The Mastering that Engages the Evolution.